how's everybody doing today? Back monkeying around on this old spreader. Pulled this cap off. There's quite a bit of wear on this end. You might be able to see it. So what I think I'll do is basically just flip it, because all the weight of the auger's on the bottom. So that'll last quite a while. I'm just gonna find something to stuff into here and see if that'll keep that auger from coming back, and hopefully we'll be in business for a while. So I got a little cubby thing here, I guess you'd call it. Whenever I cut a corner off something or cut a piece of steel, I like to keep these. You know, if anything, if you're welding something and you got a gap, well, you can put a little piece in and weld your gap up. See if I got something in here that'll take up some space. That's pretty close. I might be able to hammer that right in there, and maybe that'll just sit in place, and we'll slide that back in. And I'll have to go in there and put a block under that auger to get it up in the air and see if we make that work. Alright, took a little bit of persuading, but I actually ended up shoving that auger ahead farther than when I went in there with that big long pry bar and threw that auger ahead. So worked out pretty good. I was able to get it snugged up. I was still able to shoot grease in here. I was a little afraid of that with that spacer kind of right up against the back here. But I guess being like kind of a triangle thing in there, grease was kind of able to get around it and do what that needs to do. Had a couple of blocks in here to keep that auger up. So I can take those out and I'll show you what we got up front. Alright, get my straight edge on here. Make sure it's good and flush there. And there's just barely a gap there now. See, when I had that big pry bar back there and I shoved that auger forward, I put my straight edge there, there's still, you know, maybe around that much of a gap. So I think we're going to be in pretty damn good shape here. Saying everything else holds up on it. You know how that goes. So, guess I will finish greasing this while I got her in here and get some oil for them chains and see what other kind of trouble we can get into. Alright guys, I'm down the barn here. Milking cows, obviously. Just wanted to go over, if you ever notice those blue collars. I got two collars on each cow. The brown one's just the neck strap for hooking them up in the tie stalls, and the blue one's a health monitor. I think it's a pretty decent system. You know, it tells you, monitors their resting, their feeding, their activity, so it's supposed to, tell you when a cow's sick, tell you when they're in heat, and, supposedly, catch that stuff long before you can catch them. Well, in my case down here, being in the tie stalls and being the only one that milks and all that good stuff, I never really got any benefits out of it. Not really anyways. I'll kind of go into that in a little bit, but I got some machines getting done, so I'm going to keep moving. Well, before I get too in depth on this, I want to show you guys this heifer here. This heifer, she was weaned off of milk for a few weeks, and all of a sudden she just quit eating. We couldn't figure out what was wrong with her. Had the vet look at her. She went down. We couldn't get her to eat anything. We finally got her to drink milk, and we ended up feeding her milk for 3-4 weeks before she finally started to where she tried to get up. Our vet basically told us that something was wrong with her internally. Put her down, be done with it. But Kyle always hates to give up on an animal that easy, so we messed around with her, and I think it paid off. She made quite a nice little milk cow here. Real friendly too after being messed with for all that time when she was little. So that was kind of a little bonus, I guess. Okay, so we bought these collars and the system and everything used off our old milk hauler. He didn't want much for it. You know, it's pretty expensive to buy new, and I think around 10, 12,000. I priced it a few years ago, and he sold us everything for $2. So, you know, we're always, always looking for a way to try to help yourself out, benefit the herd, be a little more profitable. Just for what I do down here, my herd size, the fact that I'm always working the cows, it didn't really gain me anything except for the software is really nice for when we want to do a herd check. There's a little Chromebook, I think, in the office of the barn here, and the wife goes in there and she can print out all the cows that need to be preg checked. You don't got to go through the old-fashioned way with the cards and check it against the calendar and all that good stuff. So that part of it's nice. As far as, letting you know about cows in heat, sick cows, that's all basically stuff that a guy learns over time, and if you pay attention, you catch all that stuff, and these things, since they go off for the activity to catch them in heat, well, let's say it's, 90 degrees out in summertime, and a cow will be in heat, but if it's hot out like that, a lot of times they don't show any signs because it's hot, they don't want to move, and those collars ain't going to pick up a cow in heat, whereas they come in the barn, they're sniffing around other cows, sometimes they beller a little bit for no reason, go back, that cow calved, 2 months ago, 2.5 months ago, good possibility she's in heat. Or if they get a little clear mucus on their tail, telltale sign, and you can go in there and palpate them and see if you can get some mucus out, make sure they're in heat. But, as far as those collars catching cows in heat that I missed, I've bred way more cows that those collars didn't pick up than they've notified me of cows in heat that I didn't notice. So, and I'm not going to say it's a bad system, I'm just saying for my setup, I didn't gain anything out of it. Okay, I'll pull this up on this Chromebook thing. No, I have no idea how to run this thing. So, I found a cow that we had bred this morning. The wife does all this stuff. I got the app on my phone, so it'll send me notifications and whatnot, and you can go through stuff on there, but I obviously can't show you that on my phone. I'll try to record this, so. Anyways, so this would have been a heat a while ago. You can see that's her activity, here and there. Well, then she was in heat and kind of back normal, and here's her heat for today. And that's their rumination. That's all part of the health stuff. Resting time, you can see where it spiked in activity or resting was down. I don't know what just popped up on the screen there, but that's their feeding. So, if that dips way down, it'll give you an alert, whatever. But, most of the times, 99% of the time, you catch that stuff. You go to milk a cow some night and they're not as full of milk as normal, well, you know something's up. Or, a lot of times, fresh cows all grab their ears for the first week or so they're in the barn, make sure their ears are nice and warm. Cold ears basically a good sign they got something going on with them, or if they're pushing their nose against something, and sometimes they'll push it in their neck, in the neck chain or on the rails of the freestalls. They'll push their nose into stuff, and that's a sign of a cow is not feeling good, and that could be anything from a a wart on their foot, you know, they're getting sick, or, you know, some kind of discomfort, distress. So you know, this stuff obviously works, just not the greatest thing for me down here anyways, I guess. But, you know, like, you can keep all your records on here, you know, calved in, or when they're confirmed bred, when you bred them, how many times you bred them. There's more stuff you can get on here, but I don't know how to find that, so as best you get. And I still use the old breeding desk here and keep everything on paper. This is the way I like to do it. I don't like technology. You know, cow's name, bull, and then, you know, we don't do it anymore, but, you know, you'd do your herd check, so then you could mark if they're confirmed or not over in here, and then when they're going to calve and all that good stuff. And you got your calendars over here, so you take your breeding date. So if she was bred on the 6th, her next heat would be the 27th, and if she's bred, she'd be due the 12th. So one of those, it's nice, but I like it the old way better. So I guess all in all, that's my 2 cents on those collars, you know. They're okay, but just wasn't impressed, we'll say. I'm sure there's even a lot of guys, you know, same size as me that got them that probably love them, and, you know, every farm's different. Every farm does things a lot of different ways. And, you know, it's kind of whatever works for you. So, guess we'll call this one good enough. So I guess, I don't know what we'll get into next. It's hard to say. Still haven't got that guy here to move any dirt. We're gonna run out of days eventually. I think it looks like on Christmas, talking like an inch of rain, 45 degrees. Nuts. So anyways, thanks for watching. We'll catch everybody later.